Hello everyone, welcome to Codesover Day 11. In today's video, I kind of wanted to show you how to do different kinds of imports and whatnot in DataWeave, because yesterday, while I was recording yesterday's video, I got this import version from DW runtime, and it kind of got me thinking in what other ways to import a package or a module in DataWeave are. And then I remembered that in this beautiful book, I kind of wrote about it. There is a piece, like a whole section, that it talks about understanding modules in DataWeave. And if you have it, if you don't have it, go ahead and buy it. MuleSoft for Salesforce developers. I wrote it along with Errol and Akshata. Anyway, if you go to page 218, you will be able to see the different examples of importing modules and functions. So now this is assuming that we have a module. So let's rename this and call it just module. And then we are supposed to have a function that's literally called function. So let's just name this function and leave the same thing, because why not? This is working. It's going to the module, and it's getting the function here that is outputting a hello world. Now this is the example 2. Instead of doing just import module, now we are doing import and then asterisk and then from module. And now we can simply refer to the function instead of having to do module colon function. Third example is very similar to example 2, but instead of using asterisk here, we are now calling the actual function directly. So the only difference between these two is that example 2 is going to import all of the functions from module, and in example 3, we are just going to use one function. So for example, if we go back to our module and we have function, let's do function 2, hello to world 2, and save this. So now in this case, if we wanted to use both functions, we will not be able to do so. If I put here function 2, doesn't work. I have to import it manually. If I want to use function la, it doesn't work. I have to import it manually. So if I do function, then it does work. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. I think this will come in another example. Aha, I knew it. This is the next example, which is actually importing several functions. So in this case, we have function 1, function 2, function 3, and we are calling function 1. So let's just create another function so we can have all of those too. There we go. So we have function 1, function 2, function 3 in our module. And now if I come back, I am able to call all of them. In this case, I'm only using one, but then I will be able to call these. And same as before, for example, if I did function 2, I would be able to see this. But if I were to remove function 2, I wouldn't be able to see it. Or if I were to just get all of the available function, then I will be able to literally use them all, because this asterisk is importing all of the functions. Now in example 5, this is assuming that I have two different modules, module 1 and module 2. So let me create them right here. And then it's also assuming that each module has a function called function. So let's do that. I'm just gonna copy the one that we had here in the original module and put it in both of the other modules. There we go. And now we have the same function name from module 1, module 2. So which one do you think this one is using? Correct, it's using the one from module 1 because this is the first one that it has encountered. If we were to move this down, then this becomes module 2 instead of module 1. Now you might be wondering, is there a better way to handle this instead of just using the orders? Yes, there is. So let me show you. Now with example 6, one of the ways to fix this is to just import the two modules like we did on the first example, I believe. Yeah. And then we can just select, for example, we're going to use a function from module 1. And here we can see in the output that this is world from module 2. And then if we're oops, if we were to change this to module 1, then we would be using world from module 1. So we can also do that to change from one to the other one. And here to demonstrate, we have some more code. I am extracting module 1 function.hello, then putting an empty space, and then putting module 2 function hello. So we end up with world from module 1, world from module 2. You know what? Let me put here a dash so we can see this better. World from module 1, world from module 2. Now, another way to fix the issue that we had before is to use aliases. Well, what I mean with that is using the keyword as. So in this case, we are making an alias for module 1 and calling it mod1. So if we do mod1 function, then we are calling that function from module 1. I'm just going to add this in an object so we can see the differences correctly. Anyway, the second way that we can use the as keyword is doing import function as f1. So now instead of, you know what, let's do f instead of f1, or let's do f. So import function as f from module 2. In this case, then we can do f directly instead of having to call the function or the module, because we are kind of getting the function, remember, as we did before. And now we're using f and we are correctly getting world from module 2. And then, of course, we can import as many functions as we need with these aliases. So, for example, remember in our module, we had function, function 1, function 2, and so on. We can also do something like that. So in this case, for example, let's change now fm2. So now we're going to use this alias fm2. And now we can still see that it's still going to module 2. Now let's import all of the different functions from module, but using aliases. For example, if we just leave it as function and we don't use any alias because we already have this alias right here, then when we call just function, it will work because it's not calling this function, it's calling this function. And we can see it right here. Or if we really wanted to add some aliases, let's just say that I call it func. So I'm gonna just put that and we have it, it's still working. And I can only import as many functions as I want with as many aliases as I want. This is the same that we were doing before in example 4, when we were just doing import function 1, function 2, function 3. But now we're just adding aliases. So ignore that I have it in like new lines. You can just put it in one line and that's fine. I just thought of doing it this way so you could see it better. And now, for example, I'm going to concatenate them just to see that it is actually the values that I wanted. f1.hello1 plus f2.hello2 and f3.hello3. We end up with word 1, word 2, and word 3. And just as a last example that I want to show you really quick, in all of these cases, our modules have been here inside the main DW folder. But if for some reason you had different folders inside, you simply have to use the colon expression to go in the folders. So for example, let's create a new folder, folder 1. And inside this, let's create a new folder, folder 2. And in folder 1, we can do F1, for example. Oops. .dwl. And in folder 2, we can create f2.dwl. In these files, I'm just going to put the same function because I just want to demonstrate this really quick. So here I can do, for example, import asterisk and then do folder 1 colon f1, which is the name of the module. Oops, I forgot the from. Import all from folder 1 colon f1. And here I can use function and it works. Or I can also do import all from folder 2. So it's folder 1 and then inside folder 1 we have folder 2. So let's do folder 2. And inside folder 2 we have F2. So this is how it will look like. Now we don't need this one anymore. And this is how you would also call that and it still works. All right, that's all for the different ways of importing functions or modules in DataWeave. Remember that you can find all of this in page 218 of this beautiful, beautiful book that it took my life and soul to write for you. Or you can also go to Pact Publishing MuleSoft for Salesforce developers and then navigate to chapter 7 and then folder 1. You will be able to find there all of the examples and the readme. But of course, the book has a lot of explanations that you can use, or you can just go and see the code. I mean, whatever works best for you. Alright, that's all for this video then. I will see you on Codetober 2023, day 12, if I'm correct. Bye!